Good morning, everyone. It's Yvonne here. Thank you so much for joining us. Lauren Palmer of The Wild Mother is my guest today. They are here to share about their very special Art is Medicine project, Send Flowers to Greenwood. Learn more about how The Wild Mother is working with the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre Centennial Commission to send flowers to Greenwood, both virtually with participants creating art to share on social media and physically by providing large-scale floral installations of bouquets for descendants of massacre victims during commemorative ceremonies this month. Such a really important and inspiring project. I'm so glad that you guys are here with us today. While I am here doing this intro, please feel free to say hello. Let us know where you're coming from. Also, make sure that you post your comments or your questions in the comments. And then if we have time, we'll definitely get to them. If you want to be in the know of Mayesh news and events too, I'm going to post a link so that way you can subscribe. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comment section. And it looks like, so I've spent all this time trying to get us live on Instagram, which for some reason isn't working for me today. And now I am missing our guest. So let me see what is going on with that, because we can't get started without Lauren. Hopefully she is back on in a second, and then we can get started. While we're waiting, though, for everyone that is watching, let me know, how did Mother's Day go for you guys? I would love to hear from you guys. Post in comments. It seems like it was really a successful holiday for everyone. Curious to see how that went, how the product went. I know that was a challenge for everyone. I know one of our branches told me, like, at the end of the holiday, they literally had 0 stems of flowers left. They only had greens, which is just freaking amazing. A good problem, I guess, to have, running out of flowers. We know that people are buying them, which is really, really great and exciting. Let me see what is going on, and hopefully we can get started very, very soon. We're not having good luck today, are we? So let's see, how can I do this? Okay, now it says we're live. Let's see if this works or not. And then I still need my guest. Let me see. Oh, I think she's back. Let's see. There you are. Hey there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's just one of those days, unfortunately. I'm having issues getting us live on Instagram. I keep on checking, but I'm not having good luck. I'm going to keep on trying while we're talking. But everyone, this is Lauren Palmer of The Wild Mother. Thank you, Lauren, so much for coming onto the show. I'm super, super excited to talk about Send Flowers to Greenwood with you. But before we get into that, can you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about your flower story?
Yeah, so I'm Lauren. I am a floral designer and just all-around artist. I live in Oklahoma City, in the central part of Oklahoma City. Our floral studio is located here in Arts District. That's downtown Oklahoma City. We're here on indigenous land, which should be returned, but we are enjoying our little spot here in Oklahoma City. The Wild Mother started in 2013. That's when we took our first client, and we have been enjoying serving people and creating art ever since. We have done a little bit of everything, and we're still growing and learning, and we have this belief that we'll be lifelong learners of this trade. So anyway, we're just super grateful to be in such good company with other floral designers all over the world.
I love it. Very good. Um, so let's dig into why we are here. Can you explain to our audience just what exactly Sunflowers to Greenwood is?
Yeah. So in the spring of 2020, while everyone was in lockdown because of COVID-19, my sisters and I, the three of us, so Leah is one of my sisters, and then Callie is the other. We all three own the Wild Mother. We were processing through how we could create honest and thoughtful memorial around the Greenwood Massacre. So this year is the centennial year or anniversary of that massacre that was in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. It was, or has been, largely kind of erased out of the history books, and we knew that we wanted to do something that was meaningful, and as artists, that vehicle looked like just creating things around it to do some storytelling. So Sunflowers to Greenwood is an initiative that was born out of that desire to create requiem to remember the lives that were lost at the Greenwood Massacre. So we, put it out there, and we're telling a handful of our flower friends what this idea was, and many of them jumped on board to help us see this through. So we're just super grateful that this whole project was born. I should go into a little bit about what this looks like practically. So
Yeah.
during the centennial programming in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the end of May and the beginning of June, there are events that we will be on the ground creating large-scale floral installations for. There are a handful of floral designers that are flying into Tulsa to design with us. Our design team is about 20 floral designers from all over, which is super exciting. But in the interim, there are floral designers and other artists of any medium, all mediums, who are creating art and writing or sharing dedication, all to honor and memorialize the lives and legacies and businesses lost there at Greenwood in the massacre. So it's been really, really amazing to see all of the art that's been flooding into Instagram via the Sunflowers to Greenwood hashtag. I encourage everyone to go check that out. It's really, really cool to see. In the flower industry, we're working with a lot of fresh flower or floral designers, but also paper floral designers. So as you look through the hashtag, you'll notice a lot of people that are making paper flowers. There's an installation that'll be going into Greenwood Rising, which is a new museum in Tulsa on Greenwood. And they're going to be installing their paper flower design. So
I saw that posted somewhere, and that they're having people create these paper flowers from all over, and people, just individuals, and they're sending it in, and it's going to be part of the installation. And that's just, that gives me goosebumps. That's like amazing.
It's so cool. So our studio has become a bit of a mail center, which is like really fun. And our mailman Anthony's like, "What are y'all doing?" But it's so awesome to receive these paper flowers in parcels, like coming in nearly every day, and from all over the United States and parts of Western Europe. It's just really cool to be able to see this one through. But
it's an amazing endeavor. So going back a little bit in time, when you talked to Val, almost a year ago on our Beautiful People series, you spoke about how the pandemic really forced you to press pause on your business and take time to kind of go inward and reflect. Do you think that played a role or allowed you time to grow this idea and movement?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we did a lot of thinking and a lot of talking. I find that in this work as a floral designer, there's um, a lot of go 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 that happens, which is really, I don't know, it can be stressful, but we are you still there?
I'm still here. Yep.
Okay, okay, good. Um, yes, but we had some time to pause and to really reflect, and we were inspired actually by a initiative by Yo-Yo Ma last spring. He shared the hashtag Songs of Comfort, and there were artists that poured in these original songs or covers of songs that would be comforting as people were sort of reeling during all of the COVID madness. And he's just like an overall hero to us at our studio. So, anyway, we were inspired by him. Like, man, we should rally people. We should empower people in their own art to do something collective. And this healing that is like powered by people is happening, and it's just really cool to see. So yeah, spending time together in a lot of like silence and just to reflect really did serve this project well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Silver linings of everything that's
I
going
know.
on, right?
Yeah.
So, Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Mhm.
where the Greenwood massacre took place 100 years ago,
Mhm.
is less than 2 hours from where you live. So, is this very close to home for you in more ways than one? Even though this is a national movement, what has your experience been with your community? And have you had a lot of local support?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so Tulsa, you're right. It's about 2 hours away, 2 hours a drive away. We have a lot of affiliation to Tulsa. So telling our story here in Oklahoma definitely starts well before we were even born. So our family is eighth generation Oklahoman. So there were a lot of our ex-enslaved ancestors that landed in Oklahoma, and also our indigenous relatives were here in Oklahoma well before statehood. So I don't know, there's this like kindredness to the land here and to the people. But there's one ancestor in particular who did a lot of activist work in the 1920s and here in Oklahoma City. And a lot of his work is credited to some of the reconciliation that was happening in Oklahoma City. So we are just like kind of following in his footsteps. But I know that a lot of his colleagues were there in Tulsa during that time, during that Great Migration time. So anyway, yeah, we also, our brother lives in Tulsa right now. He goes to Tulsa University. So there's this draw, this pull to Tulsa, and even to the story. It feels like family. It feels like we're telling like a kinfolk story. So
Right.
yeah.
Very, very good. And what about the local support, like in the surrounding communities? How is that going for you guys?
Yeah. So there are a lot of local businesses that are pouring into this project alongside of us, which is really, really exciting to see. Not all of them are art-centric businesses. I mean, we have a couple screen printers that are helping us create like a little team uniform. And just this past weekend, we had a bake sale. So there were 6 local bakeries that donated lots of goods so that we could sell them and continue to reach our goal, our fundraising goal. But then there are just people that are offering lots of encouragement and support as we do this work. The story of the Greenwood Massacre is just so grisly, and as you can imagine, there's an emotional toll that it takes as you do this work, like memorializing people that were brutally murdered. And the team that surrounds us here in Oklahoma City is just remarkable and continue to lift up our vision and help us through. So yeah, Oklahoma City, yeah, for those who haven't traveled here, Oklahoma feels just like a really big small town. So there's a warmth here that we're seeing as we, proceed toward our events in Tulsa. So yeah, it's been so encouraging.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think a really great example, I saw that you guys had a bake sale, like in
Yeah,
working with like some local businesses, and
yeah.
that looked like, just again, like this is obviously something that's very dark and things like that, right? Like very dark and heavy, but everything that you guys are doing is so just bringing so much light to everything as well, and just seeing that, and then like having like fun, like a bake sale is a fun event, right, for people to kind of get involved with too,
Yeah, it's so fun.
It kind of ties back to the art is medicine piece, which,
Totally,
so important.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so once the physical event has passed, what is your hope for the Sunflowers 2 movement? Do you see it continuing on in other ways?
Yes, yes, emphatically yes. We think that this initiative can live much longer and further than Sunflowers to Greenwood. I think this is the inaugural community that we will want to send flowers to. We've had some conversations recently about the next time that we all get to do this as a community. There are a lot of hidden stories and a lot of communities that are maybe in pain that really deserve to be heard and respected and honored. And as artists, it's so I'm so inspired by artists across history who use their form to show or to be like a mirror to society, like what is happening and what we're actually seeing and living through. So we are just so proud of all of the artists who are using their art form to shed some light on these stories that might go unseen. So we have
Right.
some ideas about what the next community or communities could be. We're really excited to be able to steward this and alongside of some really, really wonderful people. So yeah, I think that this is just the beginning for Sunflowers too.
Yeah, very good. Do you want to give a shout out to some of those people? I know you have like a giant list of everyone that you're working with, but I heard about your guys' project. Amy from Botanical Brouhaha reached out, and I think Sue McCleary is involved, and some of our other flower friends. You want to just do a little shout out off the top of your head?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So you're right. Amy has been invaluable to our team, and so has Sue. They have worked really, really hard to connect this team to the people that are going to help donate in kind or are donating in kind. So and it's remarkable where it's not lost on us how difficult last year it was. And so the fact that flower farmers and wholesalers are willing to step into a moment that might feel a little, it might feel a little cumbersome to give in kind right now, but we're just so grateful to them. And so, yeah, that initiative has been led by Amy McGee and Sue McCleary. And then we have floral designers that have been using their flower shops to raise funds. So friends like Rachel Lungi at Siren Floral Co. She has been so wonderful and encouraging, honestly, just like in everything. We love Rachel.
Yes,
and
we do too.
But then we have, yeah, but then we have friends like Sophie Feltz and the gals at Sweet Root Village, Antigua in New Orleans. They're all supporting us from afar. And then people that are going to be there on the ground with us. Laura from Remy and Gold is going to be there in Tulsa with us. And then, of course, Amy and Sue will be there. But then there's this other group of people that has been so instrumental, that they're not floral designers, but they're pouring into this work. Two of our really great friends, Hannah Ashford and Britta Newton-Tarrant, have been from the beginning. They were the first people that we told about this project, and they encouraged us to jump in. A lot of times, you might know how this feels, like there was a bit of insecurity, like, can we do this? Like,
yes,
in such a short window, and then after a pandemic that has ravaged like literally every industry in the world, you know.
right.
Yeah, but they provided this like really warm and like nurturing encouragement. So yeah, the thank you list is long, so
Yes.
long.
Yes.
But yeah, and how can I forget? Mayesh Wholesale has pledged a donation toward flowers that will show up at those installations. I think the May 31st installation is the one
Oh,
that,
great.
yeah, so excited about that. Yeah, it's the whole industry has just really shown up and has proven to be just so remarkable. And yeah, the feelings are warm.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. People from, all over the country and all throughout our industry. And it's just really beautiful. So I'm glad that we just get to be a tiny part of that, and then, like you said, it's hard right now. And we get donation requests and things like that. Oh, I feel like almost every day lately. It's been a lot, so we really have to like pick and choose the projects, and just really thankful that we got to support this. So
Me too. It's
yeah.
been awesome. We've been working with our rep Lindsay and Lindsay Schmidt, and she's been like remarkable. We like presented her with this like really long list of like things like, can you send us an estimate for this? And just like any other time, like I don't know, she just like amazes me every time we work together. But
yeah,
anyway, yeah.
Lindsay's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so flowers, we're talking about flowers, and they are so healing. Even Hasfa Lewis, our Mayesh design star for May and June, she is very into the healing powers of flowers and talks about a lot about that. And so it's just something kind of near and dear and very kind of top of our mind right now too. And we love the idea, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, your idea of art is medicine. And so can you talk a little bit more about that with all of us, and your theories and your out view of all of that?
Yeah, totally. So we hold this belief that art is medicine, and it's been kind of a mantra at our studio for years and years, and only recently have we started talking about it more. We see flowers being this really wonderful and expressive tool to, I don't know, to heal, and flowers show up in days that are beautiful and exciting and, new life changes, and then days that are hard and maybe in moments where we're grieving. And I think that it has a lot to do with just the fact that, yeah, we're handling materials like when we engage flowers, we're handling materials um, that are natural and so elemental. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. So, but overall, like a broad stroke thought around artist medicine is that um, just to not only be being an artist, to see and feel just the tactile experience of creating art tends
Yeah.
to be super healing and cathartic, but also just to be able to engage people that are creating, to spectate, to be able to just watch is so healing too. The girls and I were just reminiscing about right before COVID, right before the lockdown, we went to go see the Four Seasons. The Oklahoma City Philharmonic performed, and it was such an experience. Like just so moving. I've seen it before, but just to be in the room with the artists and the live music. I don't know. Just art has a way of, I don't know, like it almost feels otherworldly what happens when we engage art. So yeah, it's powerful, and to be able to like harness that power and use it toward collective healing is so, I don't know, I'm just humbled to be able to be a part of that with other artists.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Love, love, love it. Okay, so from your conversation workshops to Send Flowers to Greenwood, have you really taken on a leadership role when it comes to activism and anti-racism? I feel like the answer is a little bit obvious, but I want you to expand on that. And how do you see yourselves continuing to intertwine this work with your love of flowers?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, yeah, the activism piece of what we do, it almost feels like something we don't really get to opt out of. The truth is, in our city, in our state, in our world, there's a need to educate. It feels like there are a lot of people that um, are needing tools or handles to really understand this current societal movement that we're in.
Hmm.
And the three of us are researched scholars around um, critical race theory and history. I studied anthropology at university. I'm not like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm not actually a floral designer, you know. But yeah, we wanted to be able to use these tools that we, you know, picked up along the way and that we refined in every phase of life, or are refining, to be able to help people. So yeah, conversation workshops is a way. It kind of started there. So conversation workshops is a curriculum that we wrote alongside of two colleagues that really helps people unpack their, well, one of two things: their relationship to systems that are at play in our world, and then also to give people a really good handle on how to talk to people about really hard conversations. And anti-racism is one of those conversations.
Right.
So we, yeah, we wrote this curriculum. We piloted at Oklahoma State University for some months and then released it to the public. There's a virtual iteration of that. But as we were like processing conversation workshops, we realized that our creative small business community doesn't have anything like that that's specific to us. So we poured over this work that I'm super proud of. It's called Lay of the Land. It's an online course that teaches people how to create affirming, equitable, and just brands. And yeah, there's 6 movements in this course, and each movement is a question that we have been pretty repetitively asked over and over the years. So it lives online. The course does. It has an accompanying like PDF workbook that's about 80 or so pages long. And we really poured ourselves into this. All of the photos that you'll see that we accompany all of the language with are photos that I inherited from our great grandmother, Floria. And we wanted to illustrate some of the concepts through photography. So anyway, I'm so grateful to have had the time to spend on that one and to write it. And now that we've published it, I'm just excited for more people to engage it.
Yeah.
But
So I posted the link for the Lay of the Land course so that way everyone can have that. And then, of course, it'll be up on our blog and show notes too for anyone that wants to have that link after they hear the replay.
yeah,
So that's great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so our last question for you is, obviously we're going to continue posting and sharing information about Sunflowers to Greenwood over the next couple of weeks. But can you let our audience know if they're still able to get involved, and if so, how can they do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now we are still fundraising. There is a lot that we still need to cover, a lot of bases we need to cover. So there's a GoFundMe that is associated with Sunflowers to Greenwood. We have been blown away by the support of floral designers and just community members at large. Like, it's just been really great to see. There's still a need. So you can just search Sunflowers to Greenwood on GoFundMe.com and you can find our work there. Then there's also this opportunity for artists to create work and dedicate it using the hashtag Sunflowers to Greenwood. You can post it on any social platform and dedicate it to Greenwood, along with the true history of the Greenwood Massacre. What we have seen in Oklahoma is that revisionist history has had sort of a grasp on the story, and we're doing work to push back on that. There are details of the true history as told by eyewitnesses and descendants
Right.
that we're pretty emphatic about putting into the light. So these are all ways that you can support. So and any form of support, we're just so grateful, and so we just feel so humbled to receive. So
Yes.
the ways.
That is great. So I put the link for the GoFundMe in the comments. And then also, again, I'll put it on the blog as well. And then also your link on your website for Sunflowers to Greenwood. You mentioned the revisionist history. If people want to learn more, where do you suggest them to go to then to find out more about what actually hhappened?
Yeah. So a really, really great start is our web. We have a page, thewildmother.com/sunflowers2. There's some information on there. But there is a book by Eddie Faye Gates called Riot on Greenwood, and it has a lot of information. She's a brilliant historian, and she was able to gather a lot of the stories of survivors before their passing. So there's the stories are very grisly. I'll warn you as you read through. Just know that maybe you take it in bite-sized chunks.
Right.
But that's a really good place to start. There are also this is, I don't know, I get chills whenever I engage this stuff, but there are videos on YouTube of survivors. And I think they were just recorded back in the 80s or something like that, 80s and 90s. and you can hear their stories there. Right now, it's interesting. In the state of Oklahoma, there was a move to incorporate the Greenwood Massacre in core curriculum in public schools, and that was like officially mandated. I don't know if mandated is the right word, but it was officially instated spring of 2021. So we're still in this space of learning the history ourselves.
Right.
The city of Tulsa still holds some of the documents around what happened, and it's a bit unfortunate. I think that it sort of it protects the oppressor to hold on to like history like that, but we are hopeful that we'll continue to learn more and more as the years go on. But this centennial year is providing quite the spotlight on the city of Tulsa and on historians, the way that we all learn about Greenwood. I myself, like, I'm a product of Oklahoma City Public Schools. I went to class in SAS. It's an art school in Oklahoma City, and I did not learn about Greenwood until I think I was in my later years in college. So
Right.
It's very weird to think that we're all learning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nowhere near, I've never been anywhere near Oklahoma growing up or anything, but it's still such a huge event of our entire country's history. And I've never heard of it until Amy brought it up on the phone call that one day, like it was just like, I couldn't believe that I've never heard of it before until you guys really got involved and wanted to bring this to light. And so, yeah, just really important. And I think just, again, something to always kind of keep in mind in the back of your mind, that we are all still learning and growing, and there are things that, have been hidden and kind of put away. And so I just think that's really important as we are, growing and evolving as people.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any other last thoughts that you want to leave and wrap up the show with?
First, I want to thank you for hosting me this morning. This has been so lovely, like a really beautiful way to spend a Monday morning.
It's my pleasure.
I'm super grateful for that. I think that I just want to encourage artists to use their medium, use their talent to pour into the community things that are good and light and healing. I think that we sometimes as artists, we get really insecure about our work and putting it out there, but I'm choosing to look at this from like the bird's eye view, like the bigger picture. And there's an incredible need for artists in our society to storytell. So I just want to encourage any artist that's listening or that's watching this to be a storyteller, like step into that space. Whether it's floral design, there's an incredible opportunity there, but whether it's floral design or music or visual art or dance, whatever it is, because art is medicine.
It is. And I think that's the perfect way to end this show. Thank you so much, Lauren. This was amazing and insightful and inspiring. And I wish you guys the best of luck with everything. I know there's a lot more work that you guys have for this project. And again, just really thankful that we get to be a tiny part of that. And I know there's so many people that are involved with this. And we just want to thank you guys and everyone else because it's just very important. And yeah, I just want to give you a hug and say thank you.
Well, virtual.
Yeah, I know. So, guys, that's a wrap on today's show. Thank you so much for spending time with us and also dealing with my technical issues. I am going to still try and get this live, even after our live, up on Instagram. So, just want to let you know that, Lauren. No matter what, we'll be putting the replay up there, and you guys can catch the replay and share it on Facebook, YouTube, and then we'll have everything up on the blog in about a day. So be sure you check that out. And then I will see you guys next week. I'm going to have Haswa Lewis, our next Mayesh design star, on, and we're going to talk all about her new video. So it'll be a good one. All right. Thanks, guys, and have a great day. Take
Thank
care.